Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're taking a virtual trip to a place that seriously feels like it's on top of the world. We're talking about Horton Plains, Sri Lanka's highest and honestly most mysterious plateau.
Okay, so I want you to just picture this for a second. A landscape totally wrapped in mist, where these ancient, gnarled forests suddenly open up into vast grasslands, and the ground just disappears beneath your feet. That's Horton Plains. It's this incredible mix of dramatic beauty and, as we'll see, some serious ecological importance.
All right, so first things first, where in the world are we? Let's get our bearings and dive into what makes the geography here so special. Yeah, this isn't just your average park. Horton Plains is a protected area right in the central highlands of Sri Lanka, and it's so unique, so important, that it's actually a designated UNESCO World Heritage Site. We're talking about a super rare ecosystem, montane grasslands and cloud forests. And don't worry, we'll get into what exactly those are. Okay, let's break down some key facts here. We're in the Nuwara Eliya district, and get this, the elevation is between 2,100 and 2,300 meters. To give you some perspective, that is the highest plateau in the whole country. And that crazy altitude is exactly what creates this cool, misty climate that's unlike anywhere else on the island. You know, the best way to really get a feel for a place like this is to experience it on foot. So, let's lace up our virtual hiking boots because we're about to head out on the park's most famous trail. So the main trail here is a 9-kilometer loop. It usually takes folks about 3 to 4 hours to complete. It's this awesome, well-laid-out journey that takes you to all the major highlights. You've got the famous World's End viewpoints, the stunning Baker's Falls. It's all on this one loop. All right, so the first big stop on our hike is the legendary World's End. And this number, 870 meters, well, that is why it has such a dramatic name. It is a sheer, kind of gut-wrenching cliff that just drops 870 meters straight down. It is an absolutely staggering sight to see. And you know, the reward for getting there early, it's just unbelievable. On a really clear day, you can see right across the southern plains of the island, all the way to the Indian Ocean. But here's the catch. Timing is everything. You have got to beat the mist. It's famous for rolling in mid-morning and then poof, the view is completely gone.
So after that huge, epic scale of World's End, the trail leads you to a totally different kind of beauty. This is Baker's Falls. It's this beautiful, picturesque waterfall. Cascades down about 20 meters, and it's surrounded by all this lush greenery and ferns. It's a really nice change of pace.
But of course, Horton Plains is so much more than just pretty landscapes, right? It's a living, breathing ecosystem. So let's zoom in a bit and look at the unique plants and animals you'd actually see along the way. This place is a real haven for wildlife. For sure, the most common animal you'll see is the majestic sambar deer. They're often just grazing in big herds right next to the trail. But remember to look up. You might just spot an endangered purple-faced langur swinging in the trees. And, you know, while you'd have to be incredibly lucky to see one, the elusive Sri Lankan leopard is the top predator up here. Kind of like a silent ghost in the mist.
And the plant life? Just as unique. Everything here has adapted to this high-altitude, cold, wet climate. The forests look kind of stunted and gnarled, and they're draped in all this moss. That's what creates what we call a cloud forest. It's incredible. And then, out in the middle of the grasslands, you'll see this pop of bright red. That's the rhododendron. It's a tree you'd really expect to see in the Himalayas, not Sri Lanka, which is just so cool.
Okay, so we've seen the beauty, we've seen the trail, the animals, but there's a much deeper story going on here. This place isn't just a pretty spot for tourists, it's actually critical for the entire country.
And that brings us to a really important question. Why? Why is this park so fiercely protected? I mean, what makes it so vital, beyond the amazing views and cool animals?
Well, here's the answer. It's all about water. Horton Plains is the source, the very beginning for 3 of Sri Lanka's biggest, most important rivers, the Mahaweli, the Kelani, and the Wallawe. Think about that. The water for millions and millions of people starts right here on this one plateau. So these are the 2 key ideas to take away. The montane cloud forests we talked about, they act like a giant natural sponge. They soak up all the rain and then release it slowly and steadily into the river systems. That's what makes this an essential watershed area. So really, protecting this park, it's not just about nature. It's about protecting the water supply for a whole nation. And really, that's the heart of it all, isn't it? Horton Plains is two things at once. It's this breathtaking journey for us, but it's also a vital sanctuary. A sanctuary for rare species, yes, but also for the water that keeps so much of Sri Lanka alive. So, as we wrap up our journey here, I want to leave you with a thought. A pretty big question, actually. When we have these places of such incredible beauty and importance, how do we balance our own desire to go out and explore them with our duty to protect them? How do we make sure they're still here for generations to come? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer.